Hi everyone, I'm so excited you clicked on this video because that means you're remotely interested in becoming a director with San Antonio Students for Peace. Yay! If you don't know me already, my name is Claire Lewis. I am the executive director and founder of San Antonio Students for Peace, or acronymed as SASP. I'm about to be a junior at Texas State. I spent my first 2 years of college here in San Antonio at Northwest Vista and San Antonio College. I did the Alamo Promise. I got my 2 free years of community college. Thank you, San Antonio. And yeah, I'm off to Texas State. I'll be a communication studies major in a concentration of persuasion, civic engagement, and advocacy. The most coolest combo you've ever heard of in your life. I'm so excited. And minoring in social impact through applied research. But yeah, I've always been really involved in politics and social justice and protest and questioning the government. But I'm super happy you are here. I really hope this video gives you some more clarity of who we are, who I am, and what you really would be getting yourself into. A lot of good, amazing stuff. And I will be biased for a second, but I honestly, truly think that this is probably one of the most unique opportunities that will come your way, okay? And as I've seen this organization just unfold, I have been my life has literally changed. And I am just looking for those people and people to call family. I'm really hoping that this finds the right people and that we can meet and work together really soon. I hope to start your director position officially September 2026, and it'll last all the way until June 2027. Let's get into requirements. There are a few here. So the first requirement, and probably like the most important, is that you're an official member of San Antonio Students for Peace. If you are not an official member, it is super easy to apply. We let everyone in as a member. What you're gonna do first is you're going to find our Instagram, you're gonna go to our link tree, and then click become a member. You're gonna fill out that Google form, and I'll be sending you a confirmation email, and then you'll just be added to our group Slack, and you'll be taking like a virtual orientation. It's super easy, and definitely do that as soon as possible before you fill out the director application. The second requirement is that you're passionate in our values. Pretty straightforward. We want to make sure that people are obviously aligned with our values. The third requirement is going to be that you are a college student between 18 years old and 25 years old. Since we're a student organization, we always want to give those leadership positions to students who are connected to our audience, and also 18 to 25, so that you are skilled and experienced and confident. The fourth requirement is that you must live or spend a considerable time in San Antonio during your director position, which is September 2026 through June 2027. I'm going to be transferring to Texas State as a junior in the fall, and so I will be living in San Marcos for most of my time. But since I am the executive director, obviously I'll have a lot of responsibilities still in San Antonio and spend a considerable amount of time here at home. So if that is similar to your situation, that definitely follows the requirements. The fifth director requirement is that you have previous experience in general community service and involvement at school. I mean, just so you know, obviously we're looking for outgoing people who will start conversations with other people who know how to serve their community. The sixth requirement is that you have access to transportation. This is going to make everything so much easier for you, for me, and for all of us. We hope that we can carpool and, share rides and give each other rides when we're able to. The seventh requirement is that you're able to work in a fast-paced environment. As you know, we have a lot of things wrong with the world. Topics change, and the students' energy change with the topics. You to be able to move fast and get things done on time is very important. Eighth requirement is that you work well virtually and remotely. A lot of the tasks are going to be virtual, okay? It may be a lot of busy work, especially for some directors other than others, but your tasks and your job is foundational to our organization. So I'm gonna go through each director position and kind of give you a vision of what I'm imagining. Again, all of these can be adaptable to your personal preferences or skills, but as of right now, this is what I'm envisioning. They can change. So the first director position is Director of Community Outreach. These are the tasks listed for this director position. So first, collect resources for students and create tangible ways to access this information. Second, connect SASP to city orgs, groups, and resources. Third, establish partnerships and collabs with orgs. Fourth, create a calendar of citywide events and opportunities important to students, including important city hall meetings, school board meetings, etc. Okay, so this community outreach director position is very important. I kind of see this director as kind of like a little mini social worker for students. So everything you do will be in the mind of any sort of student living in San Antonio. So let's say a student comes to us and is like, hey, like, I need help affording food, I need mental health services, etc., etc. They will come to, for example, probably the Instagram or email us, and we will direct them towards this director. This director will be in charge of doing the extensive research to see what resources would be most applicable to them, what would they be eligible for. Not only will they be giving them, the website links, but they will also be following up with this student or following up with this parent or family, right? Seeing how they're doing, see if there's anything else that we were missing, just making a calendar, making a document full of resources that students can look through, and things like that, as well as like emailing different citywide organizations, seeing how we can help each other, establishing those connections, or maybe even scheduling a Zoom meeting together and just talking and making sure that we're making connections with other organizations, especially those who want to help students. But I imagine that this will be completed mostly remotely. So probably about 80% of these tasks will be remote. The preferences for this director position is that you have strong skills in professional communication and any relationships with city resources, organizations, or important stakeholders with the city or education is incredibly helpful and preferred for this position. The second director position is going to be Director of Communications. So this is what you would kind of do, okay? First, gather stories from students. Second, spark meaningful conversation around important topics and our values. Third, build newsletter and send reoccurring emails. Fourth, create reoccurring SASP literature, such as flyers, brochures. And fifth, plan and create creative marketing. So I'm a communications major, and as the executive director, I've been doing most of these tasks. I'm so excited to pass it off to someone because I am super excited, but I am looking for someone who can do a lot of social media work. So gathering stories from students, I would love for this director to find those students who are willing to share important stories and important testimonies that really show who the students of San Antonio are and what do the students of San Antonio care about. I want you to seek that out and find a way to show that to everyone. I've been wanting a newsletter for the longest time. I would love something to where we have a weekly newsletter with updates and just reoccurring things that people, like our members, can see. And yeah, I'm looking for someone who is creative, who loves to do social media work and just creative things. If you take a look at her Instagram, it's very artsy and crafty, and I want to keep that up. The preferences for the director of communications is strong writing and storytelling skills, previous experience in any sort of graphic design or creative marketing for social media. And third, any relationship with media outlets and or journalists is helpful. Third director position is Director of Development and Programs. So this is a very intense director position. I have dreamed about this. This director would establish long-term programs and events for the public, which means, for example, like creating materials and curriculum for a student summer camp. This would be considered a public program or event. The second task would be establish reoccurring leadership and organizational development activities or workshops. So like, for example, you would be in charge of gathering the materials that you find online for a leadership training. That would be considered like leadership development. And third, create strategy for to successfully reach our mission and organizational goals. So this director, I would imagine, would work very closely with myself. For this director position, it will be mostly remotely. So like I would say about 70% of tasks will be done remotely. Until, like, for example, the day of these things actually happen. So the public programs, the leadership trainings, the development that happens in person, we would obviously want you to be there. So director position, we would definitely prefer that you have previous experience in development and programming for a group or organization. And secondly, any sort of I'm looking for students who are majoring or minoring in nonprofit management, human resources or development, public administration, professional organizational communication, and business administration. Again, not a requirement, but like if you already know things about this, that's very valuable and preferred. Our next director position will be Director of Fundraising and Record Keeping. Kind of straightforward, honestly. The tasks would be formulate long-term fundraising goals, come up with financial goals and strategy, and keep track and make record of our spending and saving. So this is very important, especially for like the longevity of San Antonio Students for Peace. Again, I've been doing this role for a while and I slack on it, and so I'm needing a director specifically tied to these tasks. And so this will be almost always remote, and so we'll complete almost 90% tasks of remotely. The preferences for this director position is that you have previous experience in fundraising for a group or organization. And then students majoring or minoring in finance, accounting, nonprofit management, and business administration. These last two, like director positions for fundraising and then like programs and development, they're very specific, and the preferences are tied to students with a specific major because they're so specific and because they have like a direct correlation with these majors and minors. I think especially like giving someone this experience in their major and minor is also very beneficial. So if this sounds like something that would relate to your major or future career, please consider the last two director positions especially. No one is paid for anything, okay? I don't know if that's a surprise to you. Hopefully it's not. But yeah, no one gets paid. And so all of this is volunteer leadership positions. And so that's why it's super important that we find people who are naturally driven, naturally passionate, and attracted to things like this. Like, it's very doable to have, this director position and multiple other jobs as well. Like, for example, I'm the director and I'm interning with someone right now. I have a job, like a traditional job, and then I also have like a side job, so it's very doable. And especially after we have our team, it'll be a lot easier to talk about this on like a personal level. But as of right now, I'm thinking we have office hours where we have certain days where we like check in with one another, where we have meetings where we hang out and have fun and connect with one another, because that's something that I really missed having previously in like previous years. Like, I just wish I had the time and the brain space to just connect with directors on a more personal level and really have those friendships more than anything. And so I'm thinking that we have office hours that are designated to connect with one another, check in with one another, help each other out with tasks, and make sure that we're doing our things on time and keeping the energy and momentum, because it is so easy to feel burned out in work that requires you to care and to be passionate. It can be exhausting, and especially when we're talking and working with heavy issues that are really personal to everyone. What you need to know is that I'm not going to overwork you. You're not going to be forced to do anything. But there are going to be expectations and hopes that I have and that the organization has for you, because we want you to get something out of this. And I also would love, and we want you to put, your skills and passion into us as well. And so we want to help each other out. And yeah, I really hope this is helpful and that this speaks to you. I will put the deadline of the application on the screen somewhere. And yeah, please make sure to check your emails, check your phones, because we will be doing in-person interviews as soon as possible. Don't stress. I can't wait to see what you have to offer and what we can offer you. And yeah, I really hope to see you sometime soon. Okay, bye-bye.